The afternoon started like any other Tuesday in our Richmond suburb. I was at my desk when I heard my wife Julia's voice outside, calm, steady, and dangerous. "You have exactly 5 seconds to lower that weapon before I demonstrate what 12 years in Delta Force teaches about threat neutralization." I rushed to the window. There stood Kaipo Gant, our neighborhood self-appointed security officer, pointing what looked like a pistol at Julia, who was still holding a bag of groceries. 3 seconds later, the gun was on the ground. Kaipo was screaming about his wrist, and Julia had him zip-tied to our decorative garden gnome. That was the moment I realized the HOA had finally crossed the line. Moving in. My name's Mark Meyers. Julia and I moved to Cypress Trails 3 years ago. Drawn by good schools and quiet streets, the neighborhood looked perfect, neat lawns, friendly waves, and of course the HOA. We figured as long as we trimmed our grass and avoided neon paint, we'd be fine. We didn't count on Veronica Blaze becoming HOA president. Veronica enforced rules with military precision. Bird feeders, curtain colors, even conversation volume, nothing escaped her notice. But our real problem wasn't Veronica. It was the man she hired, Kaipo Gant. Captain Gant. No one knew where Veronica found him, rumor said Craig. He showed up in a tactical vest plastered with random patch, wraparound sunglasses, and a laminated badge. Captain Gant, HOA Security Division. He carried a dead walkie-talkie, muttering fake codes as he patrolled at dawn. At first it was just silly notes. Flag hangs 1.5 inches too low. Disrespectful. Observe female resident exercising. Possible paramilitary activity. Grill smoke drifting into unauthorized airspace. I laughed. Julia didn't. She said he was testing limits. She was right. Escalation. Soon he was stalking Julia's morning run, filing bogus violations 17 in 2 months. He measured our mailbox, photographed our cars, and complained about hostile dinner conversation. We contested everything and won, which only made him angrier. Veronica defended him completely, inventing new rules just for us. Then came the Wednesday confrontation, the driveway. Julia had just returned from Costco. Kaipo blocked the driveway like he was manning a check. "You're in violation of Code 4B, he announced. That diagonal parking demonstrates hostile intent toward HOA authority. Then he pulled out a Glock-style pistol. Julia spent 12 years in Delta Force. What Kaipo didn't know, she'd seen combat in Afghanistan and Iraq. Her instincts weren't suburban, they were lethal. She dropped her groceries slowly and gave him one last chance. 5, 4, 3, 2. In a blur, the gun flew into the flower bed. His wrist snapped. And before he finished screaming, he was zip-tied to our 3-foot gnome. I called 911. Julia calmly carried her groceries inside. Police arrival. Officers found Kaipo crying, flashing his fake badge, which still had a Pokemon sticker on it. They ran his record, kicked out of 3 other HOAs, once for trying to arrest a mailman. The gun wasn't registered. He wasn't licensed to carry. And impersonating an officer is a felony. Veronica stormed over, screaming about HOA authority. The officer informed her that hiring an armed fake cop might land her in jail too. The HOA meeting. 3 days later, the emergency HOA meeting overflowed with angry residents. Everyone had their own horror story about Kaipo. Julia stepped up with a presentation titled, "Suburban Counterterrorism, How I Neutralized a Domestic HOA." Threat in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. When Veronica banged her gavel to stop her, Julia took it, snapped it in half, and continued. She showed 17 fake violations, security footage of Kaipo stalking neighbors, receipts proving Veronica used HOA funds to buy his tactical gear, including a $2,000 compliance drone. 3 board members resigned on the spot. Veronica's husband moved to remove her as president. The vote was unanimous. The trials. Police later discovered files in Kippel's apartment, schedules of children, maps of houses, and a mannequin in full gear he called Deputy Justice. The judge sentenced him to 18 months in prison for assault, impersonation, and stalking. When he tried to claim HOA diplomatic immunity, the judge called it the stupidest thing I've heard in 30 years. Veronica was convicted of embezzling HOA funds over $15,000 and banned from HOA boards for life. She collapsed in court screaming, "But I am the HOA." Epilogue. Cypress Trails is peaceful again. Neighbors still wave, but nobody mentions HOA bylaws anymore. And every time I see that garden gnome in our yard, I smile, because I know it once helped take down the most ridiculous threat this suburb had ever seen. And I know one thing for certain: you never point a gun at Julia Meyers.
Bell, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life drama stories. Thumbs up, like and share if you believe she deserves justice.